Well, good to see everybody. Good afternoon. And thank you to those of you that are here sitting in front of me in person. And thank you to those that are watching this, whether it be on Zoom or on Facebook. I believe we're streaming live on Facebook as well right now. And we're also broadcasting on Zoom. So we got a good collection of souls here today. And it's the first lecture that we've had an opportunity to do in quite some time, which I'm excited about. And truthfully, today's lecture is really going to be a summation of a lot of things that the instructors and I have been trying to share in our classes over the last several months, things that I've tried to share in some of my posts and things when we were in a more virtual format, and some additional things that I think would be really valuable. All right. Those of you that are sitting there in front of me right now, feel free to, get comfortable. I know you're on the mat, but it's a lecture today. You don't have to be in full Caesar or anything unless it's comfortable for you to be that way. All right. But we just get everybody spread out so everybody can be a little more comfortable and safe and so on and so forth. And we're talking this afternoon about what I like to call black belt attitude and momentum. And we say black belt attitude and momentum because we always, I think in the martial arts, we take black belt, we put it on this pedestal of what we're trying to be, trying to do with our lives, what we're trying to have. And if we are black belts, we're trying to get to the next level, right? So we're always striving to improve. And really, mindset and attitude are absolutely vital. They're going to be the most important thing as we make those transitions and we set those goals for ourselves. It's all about attitude and momentum. So when things get in the way, being able to keep moving forward. And the great thing about moving forward is once you get going, you can continue. It's easier to continue. This afternoon, I'm going to jump around a little bit to some different aspects of developing the right kind of black belt attitude and some things that we can do on a daily basis to make that happen, because it isn't what we do today, but it's what we do every day that makes a big difference. We're going to start this afternoon actually with something that I call the morning questions. All right. And we're going to try to make today's lecture a little more interactive. I may call out to some of you that are in front of me in person to add to the experience today. And so feel free to take notes if something pops up that is like super important to you. Keep in mind that we are recording this, technology willing, so you can go back and you can write things down. I really want to make sure that this afternoon, whether you're with me virtually or in front of me, that you're taking this in, right? Sometimes we get so focused on writing things down that we forget to experience what's going on in front of us. And if it's one thing that I've learned these past 6 months or so, it's we have to enjoy the experience of what's happening in front of us, right? And so we're going to begin today with what I call the morning questions. These are questions that literally you wake up in the morning and you ask yourself. And the reason why you ask these questions is to put yourself in a good mindset. Myself and my senior leadership students have actually been working on some of this material in our class the last few weeks. And I think it's really important for everybody to benefit. The first morning question is, what am I most happy about today? So you ask yourself, what am I most happy about today? So let's ask Cameron Huff, what are you most happy about today? Okay. You're happy about your cross-country meet today. Fabulous. Fantastic. Hancho, what are you most happy about today?
Black belt prep.
Black belt prep. Oh, yeah. Hancho loves it. Getting out there with the black belt candidates, making them work early in the morning on Saturday. Oh, it just breeds Hancho, Absolutely. So that's the first question. What are you most happy about today? The second one is, what am I most excited about today? What am I most excited about today? Which can be a little bit different. So let's think about that. Noah J., what are you most excited about today? Notice he said that with a different tonation than Hancho, right? Black belt preparation as a student as opposed to the instructor, right? But yeah, I mean, isn't that awesome? I mean, that means you're really getting started on that journey to black belt, right? For you, that means a few months from now, you could be getting a black belt tied around your waist. It's an exciting time for you. Absolutely. So what are you most excited about today? Dakota Rock, what are you most excited about today?
Being here.
All right. Love it. Fantastic. The next question is, What am I most proud of today? What are you most proud of today? Teresa, what are you most proud of today?
First thing that came to my mind was Adriana.
Excellent. Well, that's fantastic. She's proud of her daughter. That is a great place to be. That's a great place to be. Kathy, what are you most proud of today?
Cameron improving his time, ran the 2 miles. I cannot run, so I'm
Yeah, he's taking care of that for you, huh?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Cameron, great job. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Now, what are we most grateful for today? That's the fourth one. So just to recap, happy about, excited about, proud of, grateful for. What are we most grateful for today? Patty, what are you most grateful for today? Being able to be here. Oh, well, that makes me feel good. Thank you. Stephanie, what are you most proud of, or I'm sorry, grateful for today? Good health. That's important because, well, it's important because it's important, but sometimes when we're not having the best day, if we still have our health, we have quite a bit. We have quite a bit, right? So what are we most grateful for today? Lena, what are you most grateful for today? All right, being at the lecture this afternoon. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. So again, these are the morning questions. Now, why do these questions exist? To put us in a good mindset, to put us in a good spot with our attitude. And it starts the moment that you wake up in the morning. Okay? So think about this for a minute. Have you ever woken up in the morning? Maybe you get up and the first thing you do is you stub your toe on something. Anybody ever have that happen before? Yeah, you get up, you're kind of half asleep, and then oh man, oh that hurts. Wakes you up real fast though, doesn't it? And then you meander over to the bathroom. You go to brush your teeth, and you go to put toothpaste on the toothbrush, and you're out of toothpaste. And it's like, oh man, you're out of toothpaste, right? And then you had to figure out that. So you figured out, okay, you had some toothpaste in the closet, you got it. Then you went to shave, for those of you that shave, and you're out of shaving cream. And then you realize you got to change the blade. And then you realize you go to turn the shower on, there's no hot water. So now you're driving to work, or you're driving to school, or you're getting a ride, and you're late because of all those other things. And so what happens is if we don't put ourselves in the right mindset, those things can pile up pretty quickly. And your pretty good day can turn into what you might call a pretty bad day pretty quickly. And what we don't always realize is that our mindset can control this a lot. We think that a lot of times things happen because they happen. Well, a lot of it has to do with how you decide to deal with it and how you decide to respond and how you decide to react. So beyond the morning questions, the next topic of today's lecture, and a good chunk of it, is something that we call the law of attraction. Okay, so if you're taking notes and you want to put that in your header there, and then under that, maybe jot down some things that really sing to you, that maybe you feel like you haven't heard, or make a lot of sense, or really resonate with you. So the law of attraction is pretty simple. Like things attract like things. So like attracts like. With that said, good things attract good things. Good attracts good. And of course, bad attracts bad. So if that bad day gets started and you let that continue, it's going to keep on going. So you have the choice of stubbing your toe, going to brush your teeth, putting the toothpaste on, there's no toothpaste. You can respond with, oh man, and having to rush around and find it, or just, oh, all right. Oh yeah, here it is. And just move on with your day, right? So again, good attracts good, bad attracts bad. So the idea is your passion becomes your reality. Whatever you're emotional about is what your reality is going to be. Now, we could be emotional in a very good way. We could be emotional in a very bad way. And the thing is, we have control over that. So what it comes down to is, whatever's in your life right now, you have attracted it to you. And it doesn't matter if you believe me or not. It doesn't matter if you like it or not. It's just the way that it is. You might think to yourself, well, I didn't want that. Well, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, you've attracted whatever is your current life experience. That's what the law of attraction says. And again, it all comes back to what you're thinking about, your attitude, your outlook on things. And I think, just to step aside for a minute, that's so vital right now, because every one of us have had to make adjustments in our lives, have had to make changes in our lives. But it isn't about the changes. It's really about how we respond to the changes, how we really feel about the changes. And sometimes we may feel like we don't have control over that. Well, that honestly, ladies and gentlemen, is the one thing you do have control over: how you respond, how you think, how you feel. There are ways to control that, and that will then influence how things go for you. So think about what you want most. What is it that you want? Olivia, what's something you want? Anything. What do you want? More friends. Okay. So to achieve that, you have to think about that. And more importantly, or maybe a better way to say it, you have to focus on that. Whatever you focus on is what comes about. Does that make sense? And you hold on to it. You also will become what you're thinking about too. Madeline, what are you thinking about right now? Shinto, okay. That's a kata for those of you that don't know. All right. I was hoping she'd say something nice like, I'm thinking about you talking sensei. I'm thinking about your pearls of wisdom. I'm thinking about, how good looking you are without a mask on, whatever it is. But Shinto, that's fine. It's because we're facing, well, no, never mind. I was going to say Shinto means fighting to the east, but we're not facing the east. Never mind. But you're thinking about Shinto. So
That's what I want to, that's what I want. So thinking about what I want to accomplish.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to become Shinto. You're going to think whatever you think about is what you become. Now, it doesn't mean you're going to become a kata, but it means you might become skillful at that because you're focusing on it. Whatever we focus on is what we improve on, is what we become, is what we bring into our lives. It's as simple as that. If you're in school, Patty, and you're focusing on your math, what usually improves? Let's hope so, right? If you're in school and you're focusing on, let's say, your English work, could math suffer a little bit? It might, right? It doesn't mean that one's better than the other. And sometimes we have to divide our focus, but what we think about expands. What we focus on is what we become. Now, here's the problem with that. Most people think about what they don't want instead of what they do want. See, that's the wrong focus. And our minds don't really work that way. They just hear the topic. And whatever the topic is, whatever the subject is, whatever it is, that's what your mind focuses on. So, Olivia, let's take yours for example. Now, you actually said it in a very nice way. But Olivia could say, well, I want to, I want to focus on not having friends. Okay, what I mean by that is putting your attention on the fact that maybe right now you feel like you don't have as many friends as you'd like, right? So you would be putting your focus on the fact that, I just don't have any friends. Or I don't have as many friends as I want. Now, Olivia, what happens is if you continue to focus on that, what happens? It just keeps coming that way. So that's what you're bringing to you. So rather than focus on not having something, focus on having something. Make sense? Sure. Rather than focusing on the fact that, I can't do Shinto, I'm just horrible at it. Oh man, focus on, I want Shinto. I want to become good at that. I want to have that. Sometimes, to throw one at our adults for a minute, we'll sit there and we'll focus on, I want to get out of debt. Anybody want to get out of debt? Okay. The problem is that's the wrong focus, because what are you focusing on? Debt. The word that I said was debt. So rather than focus on debt, let's focus on prosperity. Let's focus on wealth. Let's focus on building something, right? Because the mind focuses on whatever you're thinking about. You're thinking about, oh man, I don't want to be in debt. I want to be in debt. You're anxious. You're nervous. The emotions are building. And that's what you focus on. And that's what expands. That emotion, that feeling expands. So why not become passionate about wealth and building financial independence for yourself, right? Just to throw an adult topic in there. So no matter what, this attraction is always happening, whether we understand it, whether we believe it or not. The good news is it takes time and it takes consistency. In other words, if you today say, well, okay, Sensei, I want $1 million. It's probably not going to be sitting out there waiting when you leave here today. But if you consist, just like anything other goal you have, like getting a black belt in martial arts, if you show up to class every day and you work really hard and you put forth the effort and the focus and the thought and the emotion into it and you're passionate about it, then you will get your black belt. And if you put your thought, your feeling, your emotion behind whatever else it is that you want, you can get that too. But you have to focus on it and not let other things get in the way. Is this making sense so far? Awesome. Sometimes it's hard to control our thoughts. Dean, how many thoughts do you think come into your brain every day?
A lot.
Well, that's a good indicator. That's excellent.
60,000.
60,000, William says. Have you ever counted them, William?
No. You go crazy doing that.
No, you could.
You focus on where your emotions are. It's an easier way to read it.
You took the words right out of my mouth. So you see, thoughts, they come into our mind and they go in and out all day long, all day long, all day long. So if I said, okay, guys, you got to control your thoughts, that sometimes can become a very daunting task. Like, oh man, that's tough, Sensei. Like I was just thinking about pizza. Now I'm thinking about Chinto, and I was thinking about having friends. And now I'm thinking about how good looking you are without the mask, and and so on and so forth. It's tough. But the thing you can control and you can wean it down to are your emotions. Okay. You can think about, or control rather, as William was saying, right? Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, whether you're excited, you're proud, you're looking forward, you're grateful, like we were talking about the morning questions, right? So it brings us back to what we were talking about initially today, right? We can change really quick what we're thinking about. I'm sorry, what we're emotional about, how we feel. So feelings will help you control your thoughts. So we've got to control our feelings. And really, the other thing is we got to pay attention to our feelings. Feelings are a great way to measure and gauge whether you're on track or off track to whatever it is you want to be, you want to do, you want to have. Okay? So if you're having a bad day and you're feeling negative, that should be a red flag to you. I got to fix this right now, because all of this that I'm doing is not helping me at all. I've got to make this right now. Does that make sense? So it's like a signal. Bing. Oh, got to fix it. Got to fix it. Got to fix it. Got to change it. So really what you get is not so much what you're thinking about, but what you're feeling about, to change the terminology a little bit. So don't let anything change your mood. Or rather than that, make sure everything keeps your mood positive. So let's think about health for a minute. Someone said that earlier. Stephanie, was that you? Yeah. Stephanie, ever get stressed out about stuff? Sure. Anybody else ever get stressed out about stuff? Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put my hand really high. Have you guys ever heard that stress creates illness for people? It does. It does. People can get sick just by being stressed out. That's a simple scientific fact. You can get sick just by being stressed out. It weakens your immune system. It weakens your ability to respond to things. You can literally, I'm sure you've heard people say this. I was so worried about that I got sick. I felt like I was going to get sick, right? Because you're creating that inside of you. So stress can literally create illness. So what does that mean? Well, the opposite must be true. Good thoughts, good feelings can create health, can create wellness, not just physically, but of course mentally, right? So a great place to start is, somebody said it earlier, thinking about something you're grateful for in your life. So if you're having one of those days, a really great place to start is gratitude. Appreciate what you have so you can get more of that. That's a great place to start. Appreciate what we have so we can get more of that. So, Anna, what's something that you appreciate in your life that you are grateful for? Your family. Great. So we appreciate our family. We show that to them. And we get more of that. Not necessarily more family, although I guess that's possible in time. but you may achieve a greater relationship with your family. Your family may grow, not necessarily numbers, although that's certainly possible, but in quality, right? What's something you're grateful for, Madison?
I woke up this morning.
That you woke up this morning. Would you like more of that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. So appreciate that, right? You know, every day when you wake up, be excited about that, and be excited when you go to sleep that you're going to get a chance to rest and awaken tomorrow to start anew. So that's a really good place to start. So what we're talking about there again is that law of attraction. You bring it to you. You bring it to you. You know, you put the energy out there. Haven't you ever walked into a room when mom and dad are upset? And you don't have to talk to them. You just know. You guys know what I'm talking about? You just know. Okay. Husbands, have you ever walked in the door and just knew that your wife was upset? Ladies, have you ever walked into a room and knew your husband was upset? Some of you don't even want to answer me right now. I'm so correct. Okay. See that, because we, you know, it's about emotions. It's about feelings. It's about energy, right? And so we have to do our best to put ourselves in that positive thought process, right? So let's talk about that a little bit now. So the next little piece of this will be what I call pre-framing and affirmations. So what does that mean? Well, we're talking really about self-talk, right? So self-talk matters a lot. What you say to yourself is super important. So Xavier, who's the one person in this world that you listen to more than anybody?
Are you talking like listening as in following their instructions?
Yeah, exactly. So who's the one person in this world that you listen to more than anybody, bar none? Your mom. See, and a lot of people would say that, but you'd be wrong. Okay? Because the one person you listen to more than anybody is yourself. Maybe mom's number two. Maybe mom has a lot of influence over what you say to yourself and what you do. But when push comes to shove, you've got to do it. You've got to listen to Xavier. Xavier has to follow through. And that's true for everybody. The one person you listen to more than anybody is you, right? So self-talk is vital. And by the way, if you say something good, it's going to matter just as much as if you say something. And actually, it means even more than if you say something bad. So when we talk about affirmations, an affirmation is just a positive statement. And when we're talking about self-affirming thoughts, we're talking about creating positive statements about ourselves. So it's a good way to get started with this. You make a list, right? Make a list of positive realities to talk to yourself about. So Miss Ambrosio, tell me something good about you.
About me or what's around me?
About you, or something that you'd like to be, but put it in the present tense.
I am an empathetic person.
Excellent. Excellent. Kelly, give me something good about you.
I like to spend time with the kids.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Now, the next person I ask, you have to give me not something in the present tense. Well, you're going to say it in the present tense, but not something that maybe is currently happening, but you're going to tell me something that you want to be, or you want to have, or you want to feel about yourself. Okay. And you got to put it in the noun. I'll give you an example. All right. I'll give you an example. I am one of the most richest and wealthiest people on this planet. Carson, what do you think? Got one for me? Oh, man. Alyssa, you got something for me?
Thank you.
Patty?
I'm responsible.
What's that?
I am responsible.
I am responsible. Great. So if she's not currently responsible, that's the first step to getting there, is saying that you are. You have to believe to achieve, right? Okay. Connor, you got something for me?
I am a great writer.
Great writer. Fabulous. Fabulous. Now, the more specific you can get with these thoughts, the better. So maybe Connor's statement could become, I'm a great writer. I've actually written and sold 50 books. Make sense? Okay. Because intertwined with statements like that are really, what do you want to do with that? Right? I'm a great writer that's been on the bestseller list several times in the last decade. Make sense? So everybody right now, take a minute and write down at least one thing like that, that maybe is not currently you, but will be you. And notice that you have to do it in the present tense. The way to get there is to feel like you're already there. So while you're writing, I'll give you a fun one to think about. I have a beautiful brand new truck. I love it. Jet black, automatic running boards on it, full panoramic sunroof. I can feel I'm just getting excited thinking about it. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I feel that brand new steering wheel. You know that smell when it's a new one? Oh yeah, I love that smell. I got to put that in air freshener or something, right? But you got to be specific, and you got to and you got to get to a point where when you're saying these things to yourself, that you actually feel it. Because remember, that's what we respond to, are the feelings. And what those feelings are going to do is help persuade you in the directions necessary to accomplish whatever that thing might be, whether it's that truck, whether it's becoming a great writer, whether it's getting $1 million, whether it's being more responsible, whatever it might be. The good news is that good thoughts are 1,000 times more powerful than negative. So if you can make yourself a list every day, maybe start with a couple, 3, 4, 5, maybe eventually get to 10, 20, that become part of your morning routine of realities, of affirmations for you. I know Olivia's is going to be, I actually have 20 really good friends, and I'm so excited about that. Right, Olivia? Absolutely. But maybe you start with a couple, and you move on from there, right? Now, what we have to do is figure out what it takes to put your thoughts in the best state. Everybody has a trigger, right? So you think about to yourself, what makes you feel good, essentially, right? Because if we're analyzing ourselves and we realize that we're having these negative thoughts and negative emotions about things, that's the trigger, right? But now it's like, well, how do you fix it? What do you do? So it's pretty simple. What makes you feel good? Dakota, what makes you feel good? Well, think about that. I'll come back to Julianne. What makes you feel good? Okay. So if you're having a bad day, what are you going to do? Sure. She threw karate in there. I like that. Thank you, Juliana. Right? Alyssa, what makes you feel good?
Knowing that everyone around you is happy.
Okay. So you go out of your way to make them happy then. And if you're making them happy, guess what you are?
Happy.
There you go. We just were talking to our leadership class last night. We said that, hey, if you're not having fun as the leader, then the students and the followers are not having fun. If you're not enjoying it, they're not enjoying it. So well said. I love that. I love that. Cameron, what about you? What makes you feel good? Doing something right. So go out, do something right. Do something successful. You know, I tell you, sometimes just a good manual labor accomplishment can do wonders for the soul. I love cutting the grass. Mindless activity. And when I'm done, I'm like, yeah, it looks good. I can see it. It's immediate gratification, immediately. Not something I got to wait for the next 6 months. It's immediate. I became a lawn connoisseur while we were locked down. So I couldn't have the guys come fertilize. So I had to learn how to fertilize. Called my dad. My dad, how do I do this fertilizing business? You know? Yeah, I just paid the guys to do that before. I never had to do it. Well, you got to get this and you got to do that. And so, okay. Then I realized something. If I actually try, I could do it. I'm pretty darn good at it. I'm going to fertilize forever now. You know what I mean? So immediate gratification. So every weekend I go out there, I cut the grass, make myself feel good, regardless of whatever else is going on in the world that was bugging me, right? So now here's a couple examples, just some things to throw out there. Music has a great benefit of making people feel pretty good. So if you have music that you like and you enjoy, a lot of times people have great relationships with their pets. So no matter what kind of day you're having, you walk in and your dog's sitting there and he's happy to see you. It's like, oh, good to see you, man. Right? Children, your family. For me, I always like going over grandma's house. Love it. Makes me feel good. Makes me feel good. And the list goes on, right? But those are just some ideas. So we have to put ourselves in a state of joy and think about what we can do to put ourselves there. So you really got to go inside a little bit. You got to think about it. And when I was going around the room asking for examples, it took some of you a minute to come up with one, and some of you couldn't. So you have to do a little bit of work on it. It doesn't happen all by itself. But here's some ideas. So the next piece of this is what we call visualization and daily goal setting. One of my mentors always says, you should start every day with a blank piece of paper. And maybe make the first 5-10 minutes of your day, what are you going to do today? What are your goals for the day? I'm going to cut the grass today. I'm going to paint the living room today. I'm going to spend time with my children today. I'm going to go to the movies today. Whatever it is, what are you going to do today? What are you going to do today? Now, a lot of times we think about our past and we think about the present. We don't always think about the future as much. We focus on what happened before. We dwell on that. We think about what's happening right now, and if we don't like it, we dwell on that. But we don't always think about what's going to happen. And so remember, you got to focus on the future. And it's all about visualization. You have to visualize. You have to put yourself there. And a lot of times people get consumed with, yeah, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. So they have this goal. Maybe it's Noah wants to be a millionaire. Noah, you want to be a millionaire? Why not? Yeah, why not? Huh? Yeah, absolutely. But Noah's like, well, that's great, Sensei, but I have no clue how to get there. See, that's the thing. The first step is believing and asking for something. The how will figure itself out. The how will figure itself out. Okay, I'll give you a quick example. I went to, Sensei Richie was in town a few weeks ago, and I went to, he was in town for a wedding, and they had a group rate for the hotel if you got the certain kind of room. Usually we get him a suite because we tend to have a group in the room and it's more room and et cetera, et cetera. But we couldn't get that because, you know, the group rate and all that stuff, and you want to take advantage of that. So, but all week I was thinking about, I'm like, man, I really wish we could have got him the room. And, but anyway, I go to the hotel and I check in, and I'm sitting there with the girl at the desk, and she's checking me in, and she says, okay, I got you on the first floor. And I was like, oh, he doesn't like the first floor. So I'm like, well, do you happen to have something on the fourth floor? And she's like, no, the fourth floor is just totally booked. I said, well, would you mind just double checking for me if you wouldn't mind? She double checks. Oh, wow. I happen to have an availability on the fourth floor. I'm like, oh, thank you. Fantastic. We'll take it. There was 2 rooms. There was one for Sensei Richie and there was one for his brother. I go upstairs to make sure the keys work and everything so that when I drop them off there at midnight, they're not locked out of their room. So I go up there, check out the rooms, and I go up there. One of them happens to be a handicap room, which is about twice the size of a regular room. Happened to be the one that was reserved for Sensei Rich's brother. So I switched the keys. Got the bigger room. Understand? But then I started thinking about it. I'm like, wow, that's interesting how that all just fell into place like that. And then I realized I spent a lot of time thinking about that. I was driving around for like that whole week thinking, man, I'd love to get him that nicer room that he usually has. Be a little more, just a little bit, a little more convenient for him. So sometimes it just takes a little bit of belief, takes a little bit of visualization and just asking for it. And the how will work itself out. The how worked itself out. I didn't know how it was going to happen. It just happened. It just happened. So you got to be ready to act on the how. When the how shows up, you got to be ready to act on it. Don't hesitate. Be aware, ready to move. Pay attention. Things will pop up. Things will pop up. A way to visualize is to create what's called a vision board, which is just a poster. Now I'll tell you, if you look down that hallway, there's a bulletin board with a bunch of letters for people that have asked to join Masters Club, Black Belt Club, leadership team. You know why that board exists? Visualization. Because the first step is you got to see it. You got to see it. And we put that up there not just so that they could see it, but so that everybody else can see it. So we can all work towards that, those that haven't had the chance. Look behind you. You see those back there? You know what those are? Those are vision boards of goals. So that every time you see it, you can see where you're at. You can see where you're headed. You can see where you're going. You can see where you're going to be one day. Make sense? New student starts, you know what I do? I talk to them about their first goal, and then I hand them a little piece of white belt keychain. So they have something to put on their shelf at home to look at, to visualize. So, you get this board and you put up pictures of whatever it is you want, or you write it down, or you get a $1 bill and you draw a bunch of zeros next to it and you put it on the wall. You put that picture of that truck you want right there. You put a picture of someone doing Shinto up there, right? Whatever it is, whatever it's going to do to put you in that mindset, that emotion about what it is, so that when you see it, it's like a reminder. Otherwise, the mind will lose focus, right? And you're going to go back to whatever it is you were thinking about. The instructors will tell you, I've always got notes and things and goals written down back there for us to see all the time. Even in my personal locker, I'll keep track of things that we want to accomplish within the school and we want to do. And I notice that whenever I keep track of those things, whenever I see them and have reminders, we always do a better job. If you have a list, if you have a board, if you have a vision. So maybe, in your bedroom at home or over your desk, your home office, have a board of just whatever. Oh, I like this. Goes on the board. This is the house I want one day. Goes on that board. So that's the kind of attitude we want to cultivate for ourselves. And again, the trick is to feel like you already have it. So when you see these pictures and these reminders, remember that it's really about vision. It's about vision. It's about visualizing yourself already. Those belts are a vision board. So you're in charge of your happiness. You get to decide. When you have a vision, act on it. Remember to visualize what you want, not what you don't want, because you're going to attract it either way. Now, I don't want to live here. Guess what? You're stuck there forever. You just signed the lease forever in your mind. right? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to be? Who do you want to be with? Who do you want in your life? Do you want to be alone? Do you want to be with somebody else? So what do we focus on? Well, here's a couple examples. We mentioned some of these already. Focus on prosperity, not debt. Set up an auto plan for repaying debt every month automatically. Let that worry about the debt part. You worry about building the wealth and the prosperity. Focus on that part of it. And then it'll take care of everything else, right? Focus on getting checks in the mail rather than bills in the mail. I can't wait to see how many bills we got today. Well, I mean, if you keep asking for it, you'll get it. Just keep asking, keep asking. That's what I've been working on. I got a big check yesterday. Out of the clear blue sky, $5,000 check. Swear to God. I applied for it. I didn't think I was going to get it. Forgot I applied for it. It was months ago. Got an email, $5,000 on the way to you. Okay, great. That's good. That's going to take care of, that's going to help some things. You could focus on getting your finances the easy way or the hard way. Doesn't always have to be hard, but it will be hard if you make it that way, right? Focus on what we appreciate about other people in our relationships, not what bothers us. So we're having, we have a moment where relationship isn't going so great. Well, it's going to keep going that way unless we can find the good. Leadership students, you've heard dig for gold. You got to find the good, right? And then focus on that. Build on that. Because no matter how mad you are at the other person, no matter what you're disagreeing on, there's always something in common that you can arrive to, that you can appreciate. You just have to find it. And then feel about that. Think about that. Build on that. I've had some students over the years that have been sick, that have been ill. And I would say, focus on health. Focus on health. We hear these miracles all the time. People that were diagnosed with cancer and then 4 months go by and they're miraculously cured and nobody can explain it. These things have happened. Now, it's not usually what happens because most people don't accomplish it, right? But how do they do that? How do they do that? Well, I'm guessing they're probably focusing on health, because we already realized this afternoon that if we focus on stress, we get ill. So if we focus on the illness, we just make it worse. Let the doctor worry about the illness. Go see him every once in a while. Do what he says. Let him take care of that. If there's some medication you need that's going to sustain you, then by all means take it. But spend the rest of your time focusing on health, focusing on doing whatever you can to make you feel good, to put your body in the absolute best fighting position to deal with whatever's going on, rather than the opposite. I mean, after all, if you're going to fight some big illness, don't you want to be prepped for it? I mean, you wouldn't want to take a black belt exam without going through a few months of black belt preparation, would you? Of course not. You want to be ready, right? So if you're going to fight something, might as well be ready. How do you get ready? Well, you put yourself in the best position you can be for that thing. You make yourself the happiest. You hang out with the people that are going to have the best influence on you, right? Think about that word disease. It literally, dis-ease means a body not at ease. So make sure you're at ease. Get pictures of healthy versions of the situation, okay? If your eyes aren't healthy, get a picture of a healthy eye. Put that on your vision board. See that. Why sit there and look at the eye that's all incorrect, right? Visualize, focus on the good version of it, if that's what you want to achieve. It definitely isn't going to do you any good to focus on the x-ray of your broken neck or the ultrasound of the growth. It just isn't going to do you any good. Why not focus on the best version of that? Can you give me an x-ray that's perfect, please, so I can take it home with me? And they might think you're crazy, but it definitely couldn't hurt. In fact, it could do a whole bunch of good. it could put you more at ease. So focus on ability, not disability, right? I'll give you a quick story about myself before we move on to the next little topic here. And as a child, I didn't know this, but I went to see the doctor right before I was about to start school. And the doctor said, he's developmentally behind. He's really, just to give you guys a heads up, he's not going to do very well in school. He might do okay for the first couple years. By the time he gets to third grade, he's going down. That's it. That's about as far as he's going to get if he gets that far successfully. Then my parents took me to be evaluated for kindergarten, and they evaluated me. And there was a bunch of evaluations, but one of them was being able to hop on one foot. I remember this to this day. And I couldn't hop on one foot. And for whatever reason, because I couldn't hop on one foot, I was told that I couldn't start kindergarten, which I always thought was kind of funny. And I'm sure there were some other reasons, but that's what I remember. And so they put me in, at the time it was called Young Fives, which I think now they call like a developmental kindergarten or something of that. They don't call it that anymore? They call it Young Fives again? Look at that. You live long enough, things come back. Ninja Turtles have made it through about 3 or 4 incarnations, and so is Young Fives. Okay. All right. Very good. So yeah, absolutely. Okay. So that was me, right? But here's the thing my parents did that was so smart. They didn't tell me any of that until way later in life. And here's what happened. Once they finally let me in kindergarten, I thrived. And just so you guys know, I can hop on one foot. Flat feet and all, I can hop on one foot, okay? But that aside, third grade was one of my best years in elementary school. And after that, I just kept on going. Kept on going all the way to my full ride scholarship to college. That was around the time my parents told me that had happened. So in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm so glad you didn't listen to him. And I'm glad you didn't tell me, because if I had been a little kid and I was told that, I probably would have done a very, very poor job, because that would have been the thoughts that were put into me. And that would have caused a certain amount of feelings that would have been not so good. So you focus on disability, you focus on disease, that's what you get. So attitude. We spent a lot of time this afternoon talking about attitude, but the last piece of this is momentum, right? So how do you get momentum? Well, you got to get up. Everybody get up right now. Get up. Hopefully you at home are also getting up. You're fortunate, those of you at home, that I had to make sure this was in speaker view so the recording came out, so I can't see you if you're sleeping. So that's good news. All right, sit back down. But that's how you build momentum, is you just get started. Okay, so if you're sitting down, you got to get up. That's it. Have you ever taken a little bit to get started on something? Procrastinated a little bit? Oh yeah. If you're not raising your hand, I don't believe you. Just so you know. Okay, all right, very good. But once you get started, isn't it easier? I don't know about you, but I'll find myself putting something off, and then within 10 minutes of getting started, I'm into it, to the point where it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, oh man, I should stop. No, I want to keep going. I want to get it done. I want to finish it, because I got momentum built up. You know what I'm saying? The only thing is sometimes it takes us a few minutes to get that momentum going. So the first thing is just get up. Just get up, get started. And you may find yourself up late working on a project because now the momentum's built up and you're just so excited. I've said this a lot these last few months. You have to decide. You can add to the problem or you can be part of the solution. Okay? So right now, 2020, we've all been dealing with a lot of changes in this pandemic situation. That's a problem that we're all dealing with. You can become part of the problem. You can add to that. You can add to that problem. You can make it worse or you can make it better. You could find a way to succeed. I would encourage you to do that. We have spent countless hours, the staff, and I'm very proud of the staff in our school to try to set that example as much as possible. Because to me, that's what black belt's all about, is you have to push past the obstacles. Sensei Slicker was so kind enough. You have the shirt on right now, don't you? Would you please turn around with that shirt? He was kind enough to quote me, which I forgot I even said this. But Cameron, because I can't read it from here, and I forgot what I said, could you please read it? So pushing through hard times is not an option for black belt, but a requirement, right? So we're talking about black belt attitude, black belt momentum. It's a requirement. But not just for black belts, it's a requirement for life. It's a requirement for doing what you want to do and being what you want to be and having what you want to have. So failure or problems can fuel you up, or they can give you a reason to curl up and die in the corner, to put it bluntly. And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of people metaphorically just kind of curl up and die in the corner. Wait for it to get better rather than be the reason that it does. I encourage you to be the reason that it gets better, or at least a part of it. You don't need to know how, you just need to know what and get started on it. And that brings us to the evening questions as we come full circle this afternoon. Let's see. Madison, do you remember one of the evening questions?
What have I learned today?
Ooh, beautiful. Good job. 10 bonus points. You just learned that last night. So what did I learn today? There's only 2 questions, and these questions are designed for you to reflect on your day and look back on what you did and realize that every day is valuable. So what did I learn today? I know the day is not over yet, but it's over halfway. So Michelle, what have you learned so far today? Give me something. For you, yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I didn't mean to add to your thought there, but I agree with you 100%. Absolutely. Dean, what have you learned today?
I learned all of the names for the basic stances in Japanese.
Yeah. See, sometimes it takes a second, but you may come away from your day and think about all the things you didn't do that you wanted to get done. Anybody ever have that? You had that, in your mind, you had that list and you're like, oh man, I didn't get to that today. Well, but what did you do? And you'll find, even though they might not be the things you planned, you did a bunch of stuff today. You had to have, right? But we tend to focus on what we didn't do. So what did you learn today? What did you get accomplished today? What's the second question, Emma?
What did I contribute to?
Yes, what did I contribute today? What did I contribute today? To this world that we call Earth, what did I contribute today? So Kelly, what do you think? What have you contributed so far today?
Oh boy, I contributed a lot today.
I just need one, Kelly. I just need one.
I contributed to Healthy Kids by Dating.
Excellent. Tracy, what have you contributed today?
Help Adriana with getting closer to her black belt fight. Showing her around today. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. Ken, I haven't picked on you too much today. What have you contributed today? Yeah, absolutely. So you see that those are the evening questions. So that before you go to bed every night, you can think about and focus on what you did, what you benefited from, what you got out of the day. Because anybody ever go to bed angry? Anybody ever go to bed up, sad about something? Sure. How good do you sleep when that happens? Yeah. So the evening questions are just another way for us to put ourselves in that feeling of joy, right? So whether you're playing some music, you ask yourself the evening questions, you play with your dog a little bit before you go to sleep, whatever it is for you. These are just samples, but I encourage you to work through it. And, I hope everybody out there today has found something that resonated with them. For me, I find when I read a quote, sometimes they just sing to me, and it puts it in perspective. So as I was preparing for today's lecture, I made a little list of quotes. I don't expect you to write all these down as I'm saying them. Maybe one will resonate with you. And if you can't remember it exactly, There is a recording. But I'm going to go through them, and I might elaborate a little bit as I go through. The first one is, everything happens for a purpose, and it serves me. So just simply the belief that everything, even the bad stuff sometimes, can lead to better things. Make sense? To take our current pandemic situation, I can make a long list of beneficial things that have come out of this situation for our school, improvements we've made, things we've done that we never even thought about, that I look back on now and I say, even if tomorrow a switch gets flipped, that's going to stay. That's going to stay. Everything happens for a purpose. I was talking to someone this afternoon who said, being home with my family more made me realize how important that is. And I need to spend more time with them. And so we're restructuring our lives so we can make that happen continually. I'm like, how interesting. This is one of my favorites. If you do what you always did, you'll get what you always got. If you do what you always did, you'll get what you always got. If you want to do something different, you got to do something different. If you want to achieve something different, you got to start right now with what you do. Your life is a physical manifestation of the thoughts that go on inside your head. Whatever is out here is because of what's going on in here. This one's a little long, but I really enjoy it. Your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values. Your values become your destiny. Anybody know who said it?
A smart person.
Smart person. Well, that's your homework. You got to find out who said it. It was aside from me. Okay. I'd love to take credit, but I'm not that good. Sorry. The next one's a little shorter, but very important. Every day above ground is a great day. Every day above ground is a great day. If you, as Madison said, if you wake up every morning, it's a great day. Next, what you look for, you will find. If you look for a bad day, not a problem. We could find one for you. If you look for good things, we could find those too. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to take the first step. One of my favorite things of martial arts, and I'm looking at a couple of them right now, is his parents that sit and watch class. And I always find that the longer they sit there, the harder it is to come out here. Because they can't see the whole staircase. And they're not ready to take that first step. But Greg took that step. Kathy, you took that step. Michelle, you took that step. Ken, you took that step. Stephanie took that step. Teresa took that step. Kelly took that step. What a nice little lineup right there. That's so awesome. Can't see the whole staircase sometimes, but you got to take the first step. You got to take the first step. Goals we set are goals we get. You can't just wish and make it fleeting. Make a vision board. Make a list. Write it down. Have reminders for yourself. You got to set that goal if you want to achieve it and do it. Good habits are hard to make, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to make, but hard to live with. So good habits are going to take some work. But if you can do it, man, are you going to be happy about it. Man, are you going to feel good. Bad habits are the easy way out and put you in that constant state of negativity because you're always going to be thinking about, man, I got to do this. I got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing this. But you focus on stopping doing something so you keep doing it, right? Take care of the days and the years will take care of themselves. So what are you going to do this afternoon? What are you going to take away from this afternoon? Hopefully something really good that you can put to work. And I heard this one actually most recently. And man, did I love it, because I never thought of it this way. Your current state of affairs isn't who you are. It's who you were. I'll say that again, because to me, and Ken, you asked me about this a couple weeks ago, and I forgot. I said this to our adult black belt class, and Ken came up to me after class and said, "What did you say?" And I'm like, "Ken, I'm sorry, I can't remember." But this is the better version of it. Your current state of affairs isn't who you are. It's who you were. Because what we're living in right now is a product of what you did, not what you're doing, what you did. So if you constantly focus on your current state of affairs, then if you're constantly focusing on, where things are right now, you're actually focusing on the past. You're focusing on what you did to make that happen, as opposed to what you have to do to move forward. So your current state of affairs isn't who you are. It's who you were. So if you do something and be something different today, your state of affairs tomorrow could look quite different. I just love that. That was just so awesome. So you're living in the residual of what you thought and have done in your past. You're living in the effects of that. If you define yourself by your past, you guarantee your future, and you doom yourself continually for the same thing. Now, by the way, if you like where you are, then I would keep that going. Okay. Whatever we think about or thank about, we bring about. So gratitude. Show thanks. Attitude is everything. Yeah, attitude is everything. Remember that incurable means curable from within. So if something's incurable, it just means it's curable from within rather than from the outside. That's where those stories come from, of those guys that have miraculously cured themselves, right? Man becomes what he thinks about. And I'm pretty sure woman does too. Just so you know. What you resist persists. What you resist persists because you focus on it, right? Energy flows where attention goes. So whatever we put our attention on is what expands, what improves, is what thrives, what gets better. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you are right. Because Xavier, who's the one person in this world you listen to more than anybody?
Myself.
Exactly. And I hope that you all provide some really good statements for yourself to listen to. And I hope that today helps steer you in a better direction. Thank you very much for giving me your time this afternoon. Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.